Hey, this is Tyler Leiprant from the Huron ISD, and today I'm going to show you how to make a Google form and also make a mail merge with the data from that Google form. So this would be helpful in the classroom when students take a test through a Google form, and the second they take that test and hit submit, they will get an email with all the information that they submitted on that test. So whatever answers that they had on that test, they'll get an email verifying what they had entered in that test. Other places I've used this is different type of professions where people have to submit some kind of application online. Well, once they hit submit on the application, an email will be sent to them, kind of like a confirmation email, and will give the applicant all of their data that they had entered on that form. So you can use this in tons of different ways. It's just helpful because once I hit submit on a Google form, I kind of like to know what I answered. I want a hard copy version of that, and that hard copy will be sent to my email. So real quick, I will show you how to do that, and it's simple. It's just going to take you a couple minutes your first time to set it up, and then after that it's a breeze. So we're going to start off by making a Google form, and we'll just title it Test Mail Merge. Okay, and you have seen me make Google Forms before, so you kind of know how that works. But the questions, you have to have their email address. So we're just going to start off with what is your name, because I always want to know who it's coming from, and make that required. And I'm going to duplicate that and change what is your name to what is your email. And that is already required. So those are very important to know who it is and where can I email you guys your results. The next thing I'm going to add is just a couple multiple choice questions. Make that required, and let's do one more. Maybe make a little text response. All right, so those are my questions. Now, like I said, you can do whatever. If this is a survey, you can make a survey with unlimited questions. If this is a test, you can have hundreds of questions if you want to. It doesn't matter. As long as it's a Google form, you can do this. So now I am going to go to view responses, even though I don't have any. And again, Google Forms save everything. You can see it's saved in my drive, so I don't have to hit save. I'm just going to go to my view responses, which there's no responses, so it's empty. But I have my fields. This is very important because this is the basics of your mail merge. This is what it's pulling from. So to make a mail merge, I'm going to go to add-ons, and you want to find Form Mule. If you don't have that email merge utility, you can go to your Get Add-ons and find that for free. So I'm going to launch this, and it gets kind of complex, but they have made it a lot easier. So what this is, select this sheet that contains your email addresses. Well, my email addresses are in column C. What is your name, and then what is your email address? And that is in sheet Form 1 responses. So I'm going to choose Form 1 responses. Now you have two types of triggers. So once somebody hits submit, it's going to send a trigger to send an email back to that person who submitted it. So I like to have that on. So the instant they hit submit, they get something back in their email. A time trigger is nice because you can say at 5 o'clock tonight, I want a email sent of all the people who sent in a form today. But I just want to have my form trigger on. Now this is neat. You can make a case number. So if you're getting hundreds of people making this today or filling this out today, you can create a case number. So the first person who submits something is case number 1. So you don't have to refer to this as their name or email address. You can say, hey, on case number 25, let's take a look at that if you're working with a team of professionals. So sometimes it kicks you off because we haven't submitted a form yet. But we'll just go back on, and it'll start me with the place that I left off. And now I want to click on that one too. That will give me a URL. Should pop up right there, a URL of the form, and it's going to be filled in. So if they took that form, the Google form, this will be a URL that they can click back on and see the exact Google form with all their responses on there. So I don't know why it does that, it just kicks you off, but like I said, it'll get you back on that right spot. So I have those checked. I have my trigger on. I'm going to hit next. And so now, how many unique email templates do you want to use? Well, this is basic. I just want to use one template. So if somebody submits a form, then one template will be sent back to them. You can just leave it template 1 as the name. And I want to send for all rows. So I want to be able to send back the timestamp, what is their name, what is their email address, and all my questions. So I want all those fields to be able to be sent back to them in an email. So I'm going to save those settings and go to next. So this is where I'm making the template email. So right here, here's all my tags, and notice these are all the questions that I had in my form. Now, 2, I want this to go back to the person who filled out the form, which this is why it was important to have their email address, because all I have to do is click on what is your email, and so whatever their email was, it'll automatically send an email to them. You can carbon copy somebody, so I could find somebody in here, and I could, enter my boss's email right there if I wanted to, or I can blind carbon copy. So if I want all my form entries to also go to the person who submitted it, or go to my supervisor, I could just type in their email right there. Let's just say I want all of them to go to my email address. So this is confirmation for the person submitting them and for your supervisor, so they can have a hard copy of what was submitted. Do you want to be able to be replied to? Probably not. So I would type in no reply. Subject, let's say test mail merge. And your body is anything that you want to say. What do you want to say when they receive this email? So depending on what profession you're in, it's going to change what your body says. You can make your paragraph as long or as short as you want to. But now I want them to see what they submitted. Here's their confirmation page. And this has been changed inside this formula, so now it's so simple. So I want to add all of these merge tags. So all I have to do is where my cursor is, I'm going to click on timestamp, and so it's going to title it timestamp, but then whatever timestamp, whatever time they took this form, it's going to put it right there. So all these fields that are going to be entered are going to be entered right here in an email. And so these little less than, greater than marks, do not erase those. They need to be there because that's where the data will go. Next one, I like to skip a column or a row and go, what is your name? What is your email? So they will get a confirmation of all of this information. Case number, form URL, current date, and live form URL. So I like to include all of that stuff, and then at the bottom you can say thanks and we will be in contact. Alright, so that's it. That is my template of my email. So whenever somebody submits something, it's going to say the same thing but with their own information that they had. I'm going to preview and send all. So since nobody has submitted a form yet, we can't send it, but we'll be able to preview what it looks like. Alright, so we will just hit cancel, and now we're going to take the actual form one time and see how that works and see how quickly it works. So I'm going to view the live form, and I'm going to take this with a different email address. Alright, so I'm going to hit submit. Once I hit submit, that is going directly to my spreadsheet. Right there, you can see it's tracking my case number, so that's case number 1. I have a form edit URL, so if I click on that, it's going to bring up my form with all my fields already entered. Okay, so here is my send status. It's saying that an email was sent at this time, and it tells you what email address it was sent to. And there's my blind carbon copy. So it was sent to the person who filled it out, and it's my blind carbon copy is also going to my work email. Okay, so let's say I am the person who submitted that. Let's go check my email and see what my confirmation page looks like. So I had it emailed to this email account, and you can see right now there's no reply. They can't get back with me. And this is all the stuff that I had entered. This is what I filled out. That's my name. There's my email. There's my answers. I can see my case number. And I have the same thing that was on that spreadsheet. So this is the form with everything filled out, and this is just the basic form with nothing filled out. So this is just an awesome way to give your students, your parents, your coworkers, or people that you work with a confirmation page of what they enter when they fill out a form. It's great to have that on file so they can see exactly what they filled out. And it's great for your supervisor, as they will get a blind carbon copy of every single email that is sent through. So depending on what your field is, this could be very useful and very time saving for you and your work. Thanks. Have any questions?